Welcome to another great traveling adventure. This time we are off to New Orleans. But first we will be stopping at Raccoon Mountain RV Park and Cavern in Chattanooga, Tennessee for 2 nights. And there is our home away from home, the third one on the right. And we take a little tour of Raccoon Mountain Caverns, which is right at the beginning of the RV park. And they were also getting ready for their Christmas decorations inside. And that is one of the cable cars that used to be running up the hill. And there is the cable it went up, but why it isn't anymore, don't know. From there we went to the Lookout Mountain incline and took the ride up. And this is the incline on the way up to the top of the hill. It is 2 cars. One goes down as the other goes up. The cable is connected to both, and there is one little passing area in the middle. We have arrived at the top of Lookout Mountain and are overlooking the city of Chattanooga. And you cannot be at Lookout Mountain without going to Rock City, as this birdhouse states on the roof. Rock City was designed by Frida Carter and her husband Garnett Carter. Rock City officially opened as a public attraction on May 21st, 1932. It got off to a very slow start because advertising in those days was difficult. Carter hired a young sign painter named Clark Byers, who was hired to travel the nation's highways and offer to paint a farmer's barn in exchange for letting them paint 3 simple words: "See Rock City." The distinctive black and white signs appeared as far north as Michigan and as far west as Texas. The advertising soon began to produce the desired effect, and by the close of the 1930s, more travelers than ever had seen Rock City Gardens. The rest, as they say, is history. Ruby Falls is the nation's tallest and deepest underground waterfall open to the public. Discovered in 1928, Leo Lambert accidentally found a breathtaking waterfall deep within Lookout Mountain in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Lambert named the falls after his wife Ruby and opened the attraction in 1929. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Ruby Falls. We have arrived in New Orleans at the Pontchartrain Landing RV Park and Marina. And here we give you a nice little view of the marina and RV park from our location. And of course, our first day that we are really there, it is raining and the weather is not good. It's cold and windy, so we headed to the Audubon Aquarium by the Mississippi and checked that out, which is a very nice aquarium, and I do recommend it on a visit to New Orleans.
And of course, once again, you're going to see that natural tool use behavior as she has to find some fun ways to break it open to get to all that food on the inside. I encourage you to stick around and watch Claire with this ice treat. It is always a very good show.
You cannot visit New Orleans without some beignets. We did take one night cruise on the Creole Queen, nothing really exciting. This is a picture of the Hard Rock Hotel, which collapsed, killing 3 people. 2 bodies are still inside, which they have not recovered yet, and it is scheduled to be imploded in January. Here we are at the Whitney Plantation. Now, the Whitney Plantation showed more on the slaves than on the plantation owners. So this would be the slave quarters at the Whitney Plantation. 4 families usually were in each quarter. Those are the large bowls that they used to put the sugar cane in. They had 3 different sizes, and there we have sugar canes. The slaves would carry the small ones, and they would keep dumping into the others. This is the owner's plantation, which was nothing spectacular because they do all their entertaining in New Orleans. This church was donated by an organization because they lost it in Hurricane Katrina. And everyone is given a little neck thing with a picture on it, and each one has one of the children. That was John's, and the girl on the left was mine. This plantation had a slave uprising, and when they caught the slaves, they were all, of course, killed and beheaded, and the heads were put on poles along River Road, and the other slaves had to go out and stare at them for 2 hours, and this was the memorial that was set up for them. We were then off to Oak Alley Plantation, which was more about the people who owned the plantation, and they did not allow pictures. Now we're visiting the Audubon Zoo. Of course, I love their water fountain with the elephants. And we come across some flamingos. And an emu. A masked lapwing. A strawneck ibis on top and scarlet ibis on bottom. Sunbitten. And this is a Nicobar pigeon, very colorful. And here we have another straw-necked ibis. And of course a turtle. Lazy jaguar. And my favorite, the elephants. I was so happy to see elephants at the zoo since Philadelphia doesn't have them. And now we're going to see the Barasingha. Here we have a tiger which was walking around in the water and you couldn't really see him, and he finally came out, but he's headed back into the water. And of course a nice bear. And the cheetah, who I think was looking at us for lunch. And here we have a orangutan with baby. And here's a close-up of mama and baby. A scarlet macaw. A lioness, where at the left, John was behind that cage. Here is the zoo train, not at all what I was expecting. We have a rhinoceros. And of course, a very rare monkey. And here we are waiting in line to go on the Natchez for a daytime paddle wheeler ride. Let you listen to the calliope. The captain is shouting orders to the bridge. And if you make a left into this canal and go straight, it'll take you to our RV park. And if you make a right up further, it'll take you to the Intercoastal Waterway. Here is the Exxon Mobil oil refinery. The next two pictures were taken at the World War II Museum, which was a really great museum. We were there 2 days and spent about 7 hours total and still didn't see everything. We then took a 3-hour Segway tour through the city of New Orleans, which of course was a lot of fun, stopping at a cemetery and various other interesting parts, but didn't take many pictures.